up with the narrative of Hindu terrorism. Was the ATS working on the instruction of UPA government? Was the ATS working on the instruction?
No, I will not say anything.
No, was the government working on?
I'll be
Was
grateful.
the ATS? Was the ATS?
Very grateful.
You were tortured by Maharashtra ATS. You mentioned to
Thank
name
you very
Yogi
much. Have a
Adityanath.
good day to you all. Take care.
You were tortured by the Maharashtra ATS. You mentioned. Who are the officers who tortured you? Was it Parambir Singh? Mr. Purohit. Mr. Purohit.
अरे चल चल.
Mr. Purohit. You mentioned about Sharad Pawar's to name Yogi Adityanath. Mr. Purohit, you are forced to name Yogi Adityanath.
I'm not supposed to speak to you. Please don't ask me these questions. No, this is not the forum. My forum is the court. Thank you very much.
Hindu terrorism also. You mentioned about Dr.
Thank you.
Ganpati and Dawood
Respect my
Ibrahim's
privacy.
connection.
Respect my privacy.
Did the government act at that point of time? You mentioned the name of Sharad Pawar. You mentioned the name of Sharad Pawar coming up with the narrative of Hindu terrorism. You mentioned the name of Sharad Pawar coming up with the narrative of Hindu terrorism. Was the ATS working on the instruction of UPA government? Was the ATS working on the instruction?
No, I will not say anything.
No, was the government working on?
I'll be
Was the
grateful.
ATS? Was the ATS?
Very grateful.
You were tortured by Maharashtra ATS. You mentioned to
Thank
name
you very
Yogi
much. Have a
Adityanath.
good day to you all. Take care.
You were tortured by the Maharashtra ATS. You mentioned. Who are the officers who tortured you? Was it Parambir Singh? Mr. Purohit. Mr. Purohit.
अरे चल चल.
Mr. Purohit. You mentioned about Sharad Pawar's.
In fact, for the first time, speaking to Republic TV, Malegaon blast witness who's spoken about the torture that they had to face. And there was one particular organization that was being targeted, and that was Abhinav Bharat. Ladies and gentlemen, Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad essentially indicated that the bombs were being assembled and prepared by Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit. Along with him was also Sadhvi Pragya. Tonight, for the first time, let's first speak to a witness in this particular case. Thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. First, we've had Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Purohit making this sensational allegation that the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad tortured him. I want to ask you, you appeared before the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad. Statements were recorded. Abhinav Bharat was being targeted. I want to know from you what really happened when you were called. Milind, if you can hear me, the question that I wanted to ask you is that as the president of Abhinav Bharat, this particular organization was being targeted by the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad. In fact, they say that the conspiracy was actually hatched by this organization.
Yeah, I mean, see, it was not only Abhinav Bharat which was targeted. It was in large the Hindu community which was targeted by the government. So Abhinav Bharat is just a small part of it which promotes Hindu ethos into the society. So we don't consider we were particularly targeted. It was the Hindus of this country who were targeted by the government. When a very senior politician makes a statement that Hindu terrorism exists, so what he wants to convey is that he wants to balance that it is not only the Islamic terror, it is also the Hindu terror which exists in this country. And he proved it by slapping a false case onto an army officer and my organization that such things exist.
What I also want to know from you is that while Colonel Purohit says that he was being tortured, it was not just him, several others. You've also had an experience with them. They were being, several members were being called in. What was your experience? What did they ask you to do?
See, first of all, I was illegally detained for around 28 days. And I was not physically tortured, but the mental torture, the harassment to my family was so great that my entire family suffered because of that. I have very elderly parents. My wife is a working woman. I had two very small children at that time. All entire family was affected because these ATS officers would frequently visit my home when I was there in the detention. I was not there even at home. But their intention to visit my home was to, just terrorize my parents as well, my family. So this was that. And the most important thing which I wanted to state, and I have stated in the court of law as well, is that they were continuously pressurizing us, not only me, to name RSS workers into this. Their ultimate target, it seems,
I want to ask you, Milind, were there
tarnish
specific
RSS
names?
image into it.
Milind, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but were there specific names that you were asked to put out?
There were Yogi Adityanath ji was definitely there on the top of their list, and they wanted me to confess that he was behind all these things. But there were couple of other names which they had given us from the RSS workers, which we never have met, as well as we have never seen them. But they were all continuously for 28 days. They were forcing us that you have to name these people. You have to tell their names so that they can be investigated. In fact, as a matter of fact, there was a DCP whom I wouldn't name right now, who was continuously pressurizing that we are going to arrest at least 40 RSS workers into this. You are just a small fry into it. So that was kind of a pressure which was put on us. I'm quite sure.
Did he say, Milind, did he say that there was some sort of a pressure that was being put? Because if you go by the statement that Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Purohit, he says that there was a rally that was conducted by NCP Chief Sharad Pawar. And soon after that, there was a narrative that was being woven, and that narrative was of saffron terror. So in the interactions that you've had with the DCP, was there an attempt that was being made to crystallize what they believed was saffron terror?
Yeah, see, I could sense that they are reaching to some kind of a point where they wanted to tarnish or probably create a picture of saffron terror. But during the time of interrogation or the illegal detention which I was facing, we never thought that actually they would really create this kind of an image of saffron terror. Because as an organization, there were plenty of youths working for the safety and security of this country through the organization. So we never thought that they would tarnish us as a terrorist organization, and that too a saffron terror. See, Hindus cannot be terrorists. By ethos, by blood, by the soul of our, philosophy, Hindu philosophy, we cannot terrorize anybody. So during that period, during the detention, the torture, we never thought that they would coin this thing. Of course, yes, the big leader of this state had stated a couple of months earlier that there is a saffron terror which exists. So, but during that 28 days of detention, we never thought, but once we were out of the detention, the arrests were made, and Mr. Chidambaram came out with this theory of saffron terror. We realized where they wanted to reach. Actually, what I want to tell you is that it was not just the saffron terror they want to say. They wanted the Army Intelligence Department to be destabilized. Because what an officer like Colonel Purohit was doing that time was probably harming their own interests. So they wanted to destabilize the complete Southern Command intelligence unit. And that is the reason they targeted officers like Colonel Purohit.
Do you particularly recollect any statement of the officers, because there were other officers, according to Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, he's named in the statement Parambir Singh and a few others too. Do you recollect any such statement being made by the ATS officers then, and in particular Parambir Singh?
See, 28 days of continuous statements hammered on us. So which statement do I quote you? There are a couple of witnesses who were, they were threatened to death. There were the gunpoint kept at the temple of their head and asked to write a statement. So there is no one particular statement. That it was a hellish period for us where they wanted us to tell something specific. They wanted to involve RSS into all these things. And we were definitely a tough guys for them. So none of them gave them the names which they wanted.
Milind, I also want to perhaps take that one last question with you, because the National Investigation Agency has come up with a completely different finding altogether. Do you believe that they've been able to tell the entire nation the truth behind Malegaon blast?
Who? The National Investigating Agency?
Right.
I am not privy to what investigations National Investigating Agency has done. But probably through my own experience interacting with few of the NIA officers earlier, during probably 2011 or 2012, NIA took over from the ATS. I was under the impression that NIA people were quite considerate when they went through all the papers which ATS had submitted. Probably, I'm guessing that they knew that these people are innocent. Probably. I'm guessing. I'm totally telling you. But I am reiterating again that this conspiracy was hatched by the government, then government, to not only coin saffron terror and tarnish Hindu images, but also to destabilize the excellent work done by few of the military intelligence officers against those people who are working against the country. So, you know, एक पत्थर में दो पंछी मारे उस वक्त उन्होंने. एक तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मिलिट्री इंटेलिजेंस को टार्निश किया, आर्मी को टार्निश किया, और सैफरन टेरर का एक धब्बा लगा दिया और पूरे हिंदुओं के ऊपर लगा दिया.
Well, thank you very much, Milind, for speaking to Republic TV. This is for the first time you're hearing what Milind Rao Joshi has to say. Remember, he was also called in for questioning by the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad. And now, not just Milind, but also Lieutenant Colonel Purohit says that there was an attempt that was made to come up with this fake narrative built by the then government. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. We'll be back on the same time with more stories exclusive that you will not see on any other channel. Powered by Vimal, Polo Zuban Kesari.
Co-powered by Simpolo. टाइल हो तो सिंपोलो.
चल हो जा शुरू.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Digital India is marching in full swing and with high spirits to achieve the target of digital democracy. Some sectors like auto, real estate, fintech, and electronics are fueling this growth. The drivers of growth will be recognized at the Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards. Nominations open now. Stay tuned.
चल हो जा शुरू.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
We know Hamas' main condition for releasing the hostages is the ceasefire. After returning all the hostages, after the government will do its first duty, then the government, the army, I will be the first one to go and to fight Hamas and destroy them. condition for releasing the hostages is the ceasefire. After returning all the hostages, after the government will do its first duty, then the government, the army, I will be the first one to go and to fight Hamas and destroy them. But first of all, there is a civil responsibility of returning the lives and the dead of the captured. I'm very worried from day to day. But to keep on going, I'm putting my worries aside. It won't help me. I need strength to keep on fighting, to come here every evening to demonstrate, because this is the only way our government is letting us say our words. I was meeting with officials, with Prime Minister Netanyahu, with Minister of Defense Gallant. They are like a rock. They are always saying only fighting will release them. And after 7 months, we see the result.
The Israeli government has spoken to this, so obviously they can speak to their operations. They said it was limited. This was about making sure that designated cut of Hamas, of their ability to smuggle weapons, smuggle funds, and it was a limited operation.
Thank you for joining us on 2024 Which Way Today, ladies and gentlemen. Even before we begin the show, there is the Prime Minister's interview all day tomorrow, so we're just giving you a heads up on that. Let's tell you that on the show this evening, we have Abhishek and Shawan joining us in the studios on the 3 big talking points this evening.
And all the 3 stories that have some impact or the other on the ongoing 24 election campaign. That's why we say, which way today?
Let's look at the 3 stories now. Minorities unsafe. Really?
Are they?
No. According to a report that's now come out, saying that the minority population is up 43%, majority population, that is the Hindu population, down almost 8%. Second talking point this evening, Abhishek.
It's Hyderabad, Niranjan, because that's where the OSCs are, for the first time perhaps, facing some challenge. First from Madhavi Lata, and now Navneet Rana, who's done with her campaign in Amravati and was campaigning in Hyderabad, and she has thrown the gauntlet back at the OSCs. You wanted 15 minutes, give us 15 seconds. We'll discuss that.
And Russia warning India, or rather, I don't know, was it a warning to India, or was it just poking America?
More like making fun, I believe, Niranjan.
Okay.
Poking and making fun.
If Americans are meddling, it's a very serious charge. Let's look at the 3 big talking points, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Minorities are safe.
Or unsafe.
Numbers are up. Numbers are up.
Yep.
But can you now still claim that minorities are under threat? Hindu population is down. Minority population is up as per a report. Who's really unsafe?
That report, Niranjan, by the way, is from the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Meticulous work that has gone into it, study of 150 countries over 60-65 years. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, let's look at the next talking point this evening, ladies and gentlemen. The next talking point on Hyderabad. Very, very controversial remark made by Akbaruddin Owaisi in 2013, and Navneet Rana is competing with the Owaisis today, saying that not 15 minutes, give us 15 seconds and see what we do. That very infamous statement for which Akbaruddin Owaisi got into a lot of trouble. Not seeing that kind of trouble coming towards Navneet Rana, is it?
Also, Niranjan, since we panned Owaisi for saying what he
Yes.
said, should we also check whether Navneet Rana also sort of overstepped?
She did overstep. I don't think there's a question on that. Let's look at the third talking point this evening. American meddling as claimed by Russia. Moscow officially at a platform claiming that America was meddling in the Indian election, saying that US is trying to destabilize the Indian polls, referring to these reports come out often. So how can you call it meddling, Abhishek?
Well, you see, it's not just about the religious freedom report, which you are right, comes out often, Niranjan, but more importantly, you see, when Arvind Kejriwal was arrested, for example, the United States State Department twice in a span of 72 hours took a position on it, saying that in much election you can't do that.
Yeah.
So Russia sort of saying, who are you?
Yeah, let's get started. I have Shravan and Abhishek Sudhir. Abhishek Sudhir is a political analyst and also an advocate. Yeah. I have Shravan in our studios. Shravan is our senior editor. And Shravan, this report, tell us a little bit about this report and what do you make of this report? You've been tracking the story through the day.
Well, in fact, there's been a political furor over this entire matter. Now, there are two aspects to it. One, the argument is that whether at all, if you go by the census data, then perhaps you will have to look at the decadal growth between 1981 to 1991, and then of course you look at whether at all there has been a growth in the Muslim population versus the Hindu population. So there is a segment that is basically arguing that the census population clearly shows that the decadal growth of Hindus as well as Muslims, there is a clear steep decline. So having said that, to look into what the economic ESC has to say, the study that has been carried out, so there has been this I would say the tutu meme that is going on during the election, saying that once again you're bringing in the religious flavor to it. Yeah. Farooq Abdullah spoke to Republic TV earlier in the day. He said that this is again a propaganda that has been created. But the fact of the matter is, as Abhishek would be telling you, that this has been coming out over a period of time. Yeah. So you're looking at a classification that is being done.
1950 to 2015 are the figures.
1950 to 2015? Yes.
Only 1 year after Modi took office. There's nothing about the last 8 years.
No, are you suggesting? Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting last 8 years have gone down? It is not.
See, I don't have the figures since Modi took office, this first year of office.
But comment on the 65 years first.
See, first of all, fertility rates have gone down. Muslim fertility rate was 4.6, right? That is very high. 4.6 per woman. Now the rate is down to 2.2.
But what's the other?
No, Hindu fertility rate is 2.1, basically.
Less.
We have to look at fertility rate.
Less.
Of course, numbers have grown. Of course, we are safer for minorities than Pakistan. Of course, Hindu minorities in Pakistan.
Very good.
I've never
You're being reasonable.
That.
I commend you for that.
But tell me something. Navneet Rana, it's the second topic, but it's kind of linked to this. Prime Minister.
No.
Prime Minister is attacking minorities from the stage. He's
that
not.
Does not make. No, it's election stump speech. That does not make minorities unsafe.
No, but Abhishek, can I ask you a question? Do you think this report was timed?
Of course, it was. What do you think this report
Abhishek knows a thing or two about how the PM...
It's an Economic Advisory Council report released by the PMO.
May function.
Yeah, and there are three authors I know.
Irrespective of timing, the facts are irrefutable, right?
So what is your interpretation of the report? That it shows that because Muslims, the growth has been higher, they are safe. That's your hypothesis.
No. So the hypothesis is that if you're unsafe, you would migrate. Like the Palan that happened in Kerala, right? If you're unsafe...
There was no Palan, but okay.
If you're unsafe... Palan
from Bangladesh, there's a Palan from Myanmar.
Yeah, if you're unsafe, you would look for better territory. Yeah. You go out, right? If you're unsafe, you wouldn't be growing...
But that is the point.
You won't be growing at the expense of majority community.
India has taken in Parsis. We have taken in Ahmadiyas. For example, we've had an Ahmadiyya chief
For
justice.
change, you're sounding very reasonable.
Pakistan does not even recognize Ahmadiyas. But I am saying, that is what I am saying. It's the fabric of our society.
Fantastic.
That has undergone a change since 2015. Since this report only covers up to 2015. I'd like to see the figures for the last 8 years.
Can I ask a question to Shravan? Shravan, you've tracked illegal infiltration very, very closely, right? Now, how much of that would be a factor in the numbers of for example, the Muslim population going up 43%, right? How big a role does that play? Because, for example, I mean, we have, because I spent a lot of time in Bengaluru as well. Bangladeshi illegals have a voter ID, they have an Aadhaar card, they're getting the guarantees of the Congress government there, right? Now, how much of that would
Well,
be
if you see the border states particularly, the northeastern states, Assam, Bengal, etc., you would largely look into two factors. One, the number that comes in and whether that number is actually counted. This, be it the government data or the government ID cards, whether those government ID cards are actually, if you largely see, there is a huge debate that is going on whether these cards that have been provided, that is only for vote bank thing, or they are counted. There are people who are essentially being counted. Yes, it has a direct impact because at the end of the day, you're talking about the resources. You're talking about the resources that is being.
Census is overdue by 3 years.
We'll have it now.
Census overdue by 3 years.
COVID disruption.
Last census was 2011.
COVID disruption.
Obviously, the timing is suspect, but look, the report basically states something we all know.
Just a quick, because that is a confusion that almost everyone has, Abhishek, because they are saying that why look at the religious classification or religion-based data and not really rely on the census data. That is what the argument today.
No, I think one more argument, which I found interesting, Shravan, was that
they are relying on Pew data, by the way.
No, it's not about that.
They are relying on data from an American institute.
It's about the fact that while in India, the majority community has been coming down. If you look at our neighborhood, everywhere,
of course,
the minorities are going down.
My wife is a Sindhi. Her family was in Pakistan till 1991.
Right.
So I'm not denying that minorities are unsafe in Pakistan. We don't want to become a Hindu Pakistan. We don't want to. That's what we are saying.
We'll come to that in the second debate. We'll come to that in the second debate. Let's go to the second one.
That's not possible.
Let's go to the second one.
Second talking point. In 2013, you had Akbaruddin Owaisi say, give us 15 minutes and see what we do to 100 crore Hindus. That was his comment, for which he faced a lot of trouble.
Yes.
And here you have Navneet Rana, elections are done in Maharashtra. Her seat is done, right, Abhishek?
Yes.
Her seat is done.
Yes.
So she's gone to Hyderabad now, to Owaisi's bastion.
So
she tried to outdo Madhvi Lata.
Or she's trying to outdo the Owaisis also.
I don't know, but this should have been a bigger controversy, I feel.
It is.
This is the same person who had issue with the Thackeray's, if I'm not mistaken.
If you look at it, it's interesting. And given the fact that it's campaign season, Niranjan and Shravan and Abhishek Sudhir, two women, Madhvi Lata and Navneet Rana, at their feisty, fiery best, taking on the Owaisis in a language to which Owaisis are finding it difficult to respond. Isn't it interesting, Abhishek Sudhir?
I mean, honestly,
it's campaign.
Just a trivia about Navneet Rana. Remember the constituency that she comes from in the state of Maharashtra itself, in Amravati. As an independent also, she's managed it very well, and she's a firebrand leader. One of the reasons why even those who have been with the party for a longer time in Amravati, there were murmurs of the fact that why bring her into it, and the very fact that whether she'll be able to pull it off or not. Here you have not only her recall value in the state of Maharashtra, the demand has actually gone up substantially in other states. Demand for her presence, for her campaign, for her to campaign. But that's the charisma that Navneet Rana actually has, and that. Let me also tell you, several other states, the demand has actually come from several other BJP state units of asking her to come in.
Bit of a star there, right?
Now, it's changed the narrative for sure today, Abhishek. Abhishek to Abhishek. Abhishek, what kind of response? It is hate speech. I mean, it borders around hate speech. It is hate speech. I mean, she said, give us 15 seconds, right?
Yeah. Now, that's why I said, has she overstepped?
She has overstepped.
But then the lead comes from her boss, no?
No, I don't think.
But then the question. The
boss is saying Guspetiya.
But then the question here is then, what did you do when Akbaruddin Owaisi actually said?
Criticized. Everybody criticized.
But it's interesting that the Owaisis are on the back foot in their own backyard.
Are they? I don't know.
And he had a very
the reactions have been very defensive.
If you look at the photographs on Owaisi's social media,
maybe they don't know.
He's going around getting garlanded by Hindus everywhere. I don't know if you've seen this.
Obviously, he gets Hindu votes. Who's saying he does not? Because in his constituency also, the Muslim population is 48%, 52% Hindus, obviously. And he wins with 53% vote share. So obviously, Hindus vote for him.
At the end of the day, are these the leaders we want to promote? That's the question. The BJP has fine leaders. Navneet Rana, hate speech. Yeah, hate speech is the easiest way to write to the top.
Only one example in the last 5
years, right?
No, Madhvi Lata with that bow and arrow towards the masjid.
She has clarified it was not towards the masjid. She's clarified.
She's we are living in the age of fake and AI.
It's a deep
Let's understand
fake.
this is
It's a
this
deep
is a
fake.
very she's given interesting sort of a
I think, look, election commission should
Not
just
like
say,
she-
look,
in
they
fact-
should amend the model code of
in fact-
conduct and say religion should only
fact-
exclusively be used in elections.
Madhvi
Then
said-
forget, come on,
Madhvi
religion
said-
is used in
Madhvi
elections. so
Lata-
let them get rid
Everywhere,
of
right?
it.
Everywhere.
Get rid of it.
India.
In fact, Madhvi Lata had a very interesting twist to it. She said that आपको लग रहा है वो मस्जिद है पर वो हो सकता था चांद के लिए वो था. The arrow was pointed towards the chand. So she said that it could be something
sort of,
else.
but I think
Will she
the
get into
Oasis
trouble?
for the first time.
Will she get into trouble?
No, of course not.
Should she get
Why will
into trouble?
Pragya,
There is a
see,
Congress government.
no, but
There
this
is
is
a
what I don't
Congress
understand.
government. There is a
Pragya
Congress
Thakur
government.
gets into trouble, Ramesh Biduri
Okay,
gets into
there
trouble.
is a Congress
But
government.
Narendra
There is-
Modi doesn't get
there
into
is a
trouble.
Congress
All right,
government if they want, they
very
can.
little time left on the
let's
show. I
move
want
on
to
to
go
the
across
next
to Russia. Now, Russia, I don't know why Moscow has made that comment, and the Moscow, it's the Russian government that has said it, that
Yeah.
America is meddling in our elections.
Yeah.
We know the Indians are not really happy with the way things are going with America, but is there some substance to it?
There is definitely some substance to it, Niranjan. Remember, the manner in which our relationship with the United States has panned out over the last couple of months, I would say. They have been sort of pressing on the pedal. They are taking positions which generally was not seen between the two partners over the last few years.
Yeah.
And so it seems something has happened. It's likely, like we are having elections,
Yeah.
the United States also is in election year.
Yeah.
And so the Democrats perhaps addressing their constituency
No, look, the point is,
by sort of
have you all
trying
heard
to
of,
pan the Modi
have
government.
you all heard of Pavel Antov? He's this Russian MP
Yes.
who had a fall in Orissa, in Raigada.
Yes, yes.
And Bhubaneswar Crime Branch is
A
investigating.
businessman, actually.
No, yeah, but politician who criticized the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We are allowing Russia to bump off Putin's critics on
are you
Indian
saying-
soil.
how are
We
you
can't
saying-
allow that.
How are you
How do we
saying?
know?
How are you saying?
Bhubaneswar Crime Branch is
But this is
investigating.
different.
Come on, Niranjan. We know that
How is
Vladimir.
it?
You guys will agree with me that Vladimir Putin's MO is to assassinate his enemies.
No, this
you
is
guys are not going to disagree.
No, this is a different thing. We're not discussing Russia. We are
saying,
discussing.
do we want Russia as an ally when Russia is discredited around the world? Prime Minister Modi
Why
is
don't you
funding.
want-
Listen
no,
to
no,
me.
what's your
Prime
problem?
Minister
We will
Modi is
ally.
funding the war in Ukraine.
No, no,
Prime Minister Modi is funding the war in Ukraine. 30% of our oil we are buying from Russia.
That's your spin to it.
That's our national
That's your
interest.
spin to it.
Are we not one of the
Abhishek.
biggest crude oil buyers of Russian
Are you
oil?
willing to pay $150 per liter for petrol?
If that is over the blood of a Ukrainian, why not?
You are. Okay.
Why not?
God.
Why
The
not?
capitalist
We are
campaign
paying
should
100
be.
rupees anyway. My thing is, why are you buying blood money? You know, blood diamonds
For
of Sierra
the
Leone.
sake
Will you ask
of
the-
for the
Okay,
sake of
one
Europe
minute.
war,
Blood oil.
for the
Will-
sake of
Abhishek,
Europe
then you
war,
should ask the same question to the European Union.
for the sake of Europe war, you are
The
willing to pay
European
$150.
Union.
I'm not disagreeing.
Let's
150 bucks of petrol.
understand the
Putin
double
is our
standards.
ally. I would prefer
The double
Biden over
standards.
Putin any day.
The
I
double
would prefer
standards of the
Biden,
West.
you would pay
Democracy
150
over
bucks of
any day.
petrol.
I don't want alliances with dictators. I don't want
At
alliances
no
with
point,
banana
let's
republics. These oligarchs,
understand it.
critics
At
of
no
Russia
point in
are
time,
routinely
at no
assassinated.
point in time did India actually say this. First of all, India's position has always been about the national interest. Secondly, it's much better to be very straightforward, working towards our national interest, rather than being a hypocrite like the
Is it in our
European
national interest,
Union.
Shravan, to allow him to kill his critics in Orissa?
No,
I don't think so.
One second. On what basis are you? See, it's like saying India went into, the Canada and then bumped off the Khalistan.
By the way, Pannu, we watched that assassination.
Whatever it is. I mean, like, one second.
We did it.
Abhishek is very-
But Abhishek,
We did it.
how seriously will New Delhi take this? I mean, will...
I'm sure. See, I think the way Americans have really sought to, I would be very blunt about it, take us in a pincer. It's not been appreciated in South Bloc, in the Raisina establishment. And so if Russia takes a position, well, what is Russia saying essentially? Forget about everything. What is Russia saying? Russia is saying, what's your business to be talking about Indian democracy when you have problems in your own backyard, right?
No, but they are saying one of their citizens was targeted on their soil. I am saying the same. If you are killing Russians on Indian soil, India should take a position against Russia.
they're not talking
We are
about
a
that.
sovereign nation. You cannot come in
No, it was
and
not.
kill
No,
MPs.
Russia is not talking about
It was
that.
no, nobody killed. Nobody killed. Nobody killed.
Come on,
Nobody killed.
everybody know what happened to Pavel Antov.
No, nobody killed. Nobody killed. There
It's
is
being
proper,
investigated.
It's
It's
being
being investigated.
there was a proper
As a
postmortem.
murder.
No, there was a proper postmortem report.
But it's being investigated as a murder still.
No, it is not.
And the two associates who
charges
came with
were
them
not.
have been told not to leave the country.
Does it also, when you say meddling, does it also include, because I see increasingly S. Jaishankar, for example, talking about the Western media trying to influence, trying to peddle a propaganda. Is that part of what the government or the BJP is
100%.
wary of
100%.
now?
100%. Is that direct?
There is a very clear, concerted attempt at discrediting India's election process just because they think that by this they can question the mandate post June 4th.
Criticizing Modi is not criticizing India. There are two
They are
different
not
things.
criticizing Modi.
They are criticizing
our election process.
They are criticizing Modi meddling with our election process.
Okay, fine.
Modi controlling our election
Abhishek,
process.
Guardian writing an editorial, right? Editorial, not an op-ed. Editorial saying that the electorate should deeply think whether they should give a mandate, third mandate to Modi. What's your business?
Wait, but Arnab is going to do an editorial called The Lead in 10 minutes.
Yes.
So every
But
news organization has a right.
He never says to the people of the United Kingdom. We might start doing it once our global channel is on. But now we are not saying to the people of United Kingdom, please choose Rishi Sunak or don't choose Boris Johnson. We don't say that.
That's Indian soft power. Do it. That's what I'm saying. Look, at the end of the day, please draw a distinction between the criticism of Modi and the criticism of India. Modi's image in the West is dented, and if Donald Trump does not come back as president, you will see a more belligerent Joe Biden who will go against Modi.
Why should we care?
Because that is the world's, because they're a superpower and the world's most powerful country.
Finally, Abhishek and Shravan.
Yeah.
Do you see this majority, minority? I'm ending the show with this. I just want to get your view on it. The majority, minority, the numbers. Do you see that becoming a part of the narrative in the rest 4 phases of the election?
I believe so, Niranjan, because remember the manner in which the campaign has panned out over the last a couple of weeks, with the Prime Minister really staging Congress Party's manifesto, and when he says that connecting the dot, it seems that the Congress, in its desperation to hold on to the minority vote, could be promising minority and has been fear-mongering that the minorities are not safe. This report was the bluff.
Can I then say that this has been a classic polarizing election, Shravan? Where Hindu-Muslim, eventually it comes down to that.
Well, I think so both sides are responsible for it. You look at the Congress campaigning that has also taken place. The fact of the matter is that Sam Pitroda saying this is not just out of the blue, it is well choreographed, orchestrated in a manner. And just a quick link between what we spoke about the US interest here. Let's make no mistake, in the days to come, in the weeks to come, you would see much more of it. And let's not forget that there is also a corporate or a commercial aspect to it. One cannot take away the fact that there is a George Soros link that has always emerged in several elections across various nations. So one cannot really take away that.
Last word.
It's been a boring election.
But we have had a very engaging conversation.
It's been an issueless election, and I think the Prime Minister is desperate to increase those voter turnout numbers.
I don't think the Prime Minister...
And the phase 3 voter turnout was very disappointing.
Let me tell you...
It can go either way.
Phase 3 was best. Just 1% less than 2019.
That is the revised figure.
Shravan Abhishek square, 1 minute. If anything, the Prime Minister is not desperate. You have to see...
He's criticizing Adani and Ambani.
Oh, brother.
He's criticizing...
You should be happy for that. You should be happy for that.
He's criticizing his best
You should be happy for that.
Why is he criticizing his best friend?
The reason why I'm ending with
that... The socialist Abhishek Sudhir should be happy for that. And the capitalist Abhishek Sudhir would pay 150
No, Abhishek, the reason
so that we don't interfere with
the reason why I'm ending with that point and picking on that point is because in the interview between Arnab and the Prime Minister is anything but desperate, the body language. We saw...
He's put the Congress on the defensive.
You were there.
And
you know
2 other channels also. He's put them on the defensive.
Okay, leaving you with that big interview. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, the entire interview is coming up. But more importantly, in 10 minutes, the first clip, it's not a clip of the interview, but it's a build-up to that interview. Arnab's coming up with Super Primetime Max. Stay tuned.
चल हो जा शुरू
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबां केसरी
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the 3rd largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India, and India's phenomenal digital yatra. Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth, over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
We know Hamas' main condition for releasing the hostages is the ceasefire. After returning all the hostages, after the government will do its first duty, then the government, the army, I will be the first one to go and to fight Hamas and destroy them. Hamas' main condition for releasing the hostages is the ceasefire. After returning all the hostages, after the government will do its first duty, then the government, the army...
powered by Vimal, Polo Zuban Kesari.
Co-powered by Simpolo. Tile ho to Simpolo.
चल हो जा शुरू
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
चल हो जा शुरू
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Shankar Mahadevan Salap on the top of the show makes me want to groove. Welcome to Super Primetime Max and your favorite program on news television, The Debate with Arnab. And ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement at the start of the program tonight. This is the kind of announcement that we savor, we relish, and so I'm going to take my time to share this announcement with you, ladies and gentlemen. The Republic Media Network is proud to share with you the fact that our network has recorded a long interview with Pradhan Mantri Ji, with the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, this morning. And in that interview, in that conversation, which went in from an informal conversation on his lawns, and then we met after some time since the Republic Summit, had an informal chat. I asked him how the campaign was going. Here are some wonderful pictures, some great moments from our conversation on this warm May morning, ladies and gentlemen. And then we went on for the interview later. And I'm not going to tell you everything about the interview today because I want to build the suspense. I can only tell you that in this interview, the Prime Minister has very, very sharply and in his characteristic style addressed the hardest political issues of this mega 2024 campaign. Viewers, having had the privilege of several interviews with the Prime Minister over the last 20 years, and specifically quite a few interviews and conversations and opportunities to meet and observe and learn from him quite a few times in interviews over the last 10 years that he's been the Prime Minister of the country. This one, I can tell you without doubt, is exceptional. The Prime Minister has complete and remarkable clarity on issues, from the Ram Mandir to the caste issue, to the Muslim quota, to India's geostrategic positioning. We've always known him as a master communicator. But if you see this interview, you will yourself realize that 400 par is a completely achievable target, and that the Prime Minister believes in it. But most importantly, in this interview, you will get the clearest picture of the issues on which he is seeking this mandate from you. Before the interview, as I told you, I could snatch a few moments from him, maybe about 10 minutes of an informal conversation with him on the lawns of Sat Lok Kalyan Marg. On a warm May morning, he looked thoroughly relaxed and fresh as we strolled around the lawns of 7 Lok Kalyan Marg this morning. I'll run a small clip, and remember, the interview is playing out tomorrow.
नमस्कार नमस्कार, कैसे हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी?
देखिए, मजदूरी कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, आप इतना आजकल घूम रहे हैं और बहुत कैंपेनिंग बहुत इंटेंस है इस बार आप।
वैसे हर चुनाव में करते हैं, कोई ज़्यादा अलग से कर रहे हैं ऐसा तो नहीं है।
पर इस बार रोड शोज बहुत हैं आपके, ज़्यादातर हमने देखा कि
क्या है जी कि शाम को हमारा एक प्रॉब्लम ये है, ये हेलीकॉप्टर का प्रॉब्लम ये है कि सूर्यास्त के पहले आपको लास्ट डेस्टिनेशन छोड़ना
करना
पड़ता
पड़ता है जी।
उसके बाद एक्चुअली कैंपेन के लिए 3-4 घंटे का सही समय होता है। अब वो मेरे जैसे को काम नहीं आता है क्योंकि मेरे लिए तो फिर उसमें से मैंने एक रास्ता खोजा
जी
कि जहाँ मेरा डेस्टिनेशन ख़त्म हो जाता है तो मैं एक स्थान पे रोड शो कर लूँगा तो एक एक्स्ट्रा कार्यक्रम मेरा।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैंने जो ऑब्जर्व किया आपको, आप बहुत मास कांटेक्ट, 1-to-1 कांटेक्ट करते हैं जब आप जाते हैं। मैंने देखा अहमदाबाद में एक बुजुर्ग महिला ने आके राखी भी लगाई है आपको।
जी।
तो उस तरह का कांटेक्ट जो है वो रैली से ज़्यादा इन रोड शोज में भी होता होगा।
वैसे रैली में भी अनुभव आता है, रोड शो में सिक्योरिटी के मर्यादाएं रहती हैं
जी।
तो मैं ज़्यादा उनको एड्रेस नहीं कर पाता हूँ, लेकिन मैं देख लेता हूँ कि हाँ यार कोई खड़ा है, कोई चाहता है। जैसे कुछ बच्चे आजकल पेंटिंग बना के लाते हैं,
ले आते हैं।
हाँ, लेकिन उनके समाधान के लिए मेरा मन करता है कि मैं उनको ले लूँ। अगर एड्रेस है तो मैं चिट्ठी लिखता हूँ बच्चों को
जी। तो मोदी जी, ये कैंपेन मैं तो आपको बहुत सालों से फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, ये कैंपेन में कुछ अलग आपको लग रहा है पिछले 2014 या और माहौल की बात जो होते हैं, इंटरव्यू से पहले पूछना चाहूँगा, ओवरऑल माहौल कैसा लग रहा है आपको इस बार?
देखिए 2014 के चुनाव में जब मैं गया
जी
तो देश मुझे जानता नहीं था। मैंने थोड़ा बहुत मीडिया से जानता था और मैं गुजरात में काम करता हूँ, उतना ही पता था उनको। उनको ये मालूम तो था नहीं भाई एक्चुअली क्या है, तो लोगों की क्यूरियोसिटी बहुत थी। तो 2014 में देखता था, मैं जो चीज़ कहता था उसको वो बहुत ही एक प्रकार से नापने की कोशिश करता है, समझे उनकी आंखों से दिखता था।
अच्छा,
कि ये क्या ये हो सकता है, क्या ये संभव है क्या, क्योंकि उन्होंने ऐसा कभी देखा नहीं।
जी जी जी।
तो उनके लिए सब नयापन था। 2019 में गया
जी
तो मैंने देखा कि एक बड़ा विश्वास का नज़र मुझको लग रहा है यार, आदमी 14 में जो कहता था 5 साल उसने
डिलीवर की,
बर्बाद नहीं किए। उसने लगातार जो कहता था उसको करने का प्रयास किया।
जी।
लोग मुझे इस बात पे जज नहीं करते थे कि हुआ या नहीं हुआ, पूरा हुआ या आधा हुआ, लेकिन ये जज करते थे कि दिशा सही है कि नहीं, प्रयास ईमानदारी से हो रहा है कि नहीं, और मेहनत करने में कोई कमी है क्या।
जी।
और इन सारी कसौटियों पे देश ने कम से कम मुझे पॉजिटिव पाया। 19 में जब मैं गया तो ये अनुभव था।
जी।
24 में मैं देख रहा हूँ
जी
कि मेरी सफलता ही मेरे लिए चुनौती बनती जा रही है। सफलता इसलिए चुनौती बनती जा रही है कि उनको लगता है यार ये 14 में कहता था, देखिए 19 में यहाँ तक गया, 19 में कहता था यहाँ तक गया। अब उनको अपेक्षाएं रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी की बहुत कम है। अब सामान्य हिंदुस्तानी मानता है कि हमारा देश पीछे नहीं होना चाहिए, हमारा देश अब आधुनिक होना चाहिए, हमारे देश में वैज्ञानिकता होनी चाहिए। ये सामान्य मानवीय की सोच है और वो एडप्ट करता है। खास करके डिजिटल इंडिया ने
जी
उसको अनुभव करवाया।
जी जी जी
कि ये सब संभव है, हम भी ये कर सकते हैं।
जी।
सामान्य मानवीय को, वरना टेक्नोलॉजी घर में घड़ी भी टाइम सेट करना है तो पहले सोचता था कि घड़ी का टाइम सेट, तो बच्चे को बुलाता था, अरे देखो यार वो घड़ी लेट चल रही है, सेल बदलना है। तो आज ऐसा नहीं है एक, और इसलिए मैं समझता हूँ कि ये समय आकांक्षाओं का समय है, बहुत बड़ी आकांक्षाओं का समय है, और ये आकांक्षाओं का समय है तो मेरा उत्साह भी और बढ़ गया है।
So that's only a warm-up for the interview, and the interview is on several times tomorrow through the day, and of course we'll be playing it at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for that. And now for my lead. My lead tonight is on the excessive and unnecessary aggression of the BJP's Navneet Rana, trying to do an Owaisi of the hardcore Hindu variety. She has said that if Owaisi Jr. said, remove the police and his people will show you what they can do in 15 minutes. She says her people will need 15 seconds to show the other side what they can do in turn. Because I supported Navneet Rana when she demanded the right to chant Hanuman Chalisa right outside Matoshri in Mumbai. I think her arrest was completely unpardonable and absolutely showed the cowardice of the Uddhav government. But, ladies and gentlemen, this 15-second kind of comment is not just bravado, it is a desperate act of polarization. As desperate as Owaisi Juniors. And what is worse is that these kind of statements will give the Owaisi brothers the fodder to try and justify their own comments. I am a right-winger. You all know I am a right-winger, viewers. But being right-wing does not allow you the right to threaten, to assault and physically harm others, including the minority community, which is what both Navneet Rana and Owaisi have done. Even in the heat of the campaign, there has to be a Lakshman Rekha which you don't cross, which even Navneet Rana in her unthought enthusiasm has crossed. That is what I think. Here's a quick report. Then we debate, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, debate number 1 this evening. Yes, it's there on your screen, 15 seconds versus 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of a fight are we setting up for? Debate number 2 this evening. Adhir Ranjan. After the African remarked the N-word, he's competing with Sam Pitroda. We have an exclusive with Shamika Reddy on her Shamika Ravi of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council on her majority-minority report, which has got everyone talking. We have a debate on that. Is the majority in danger instead? A lot more coming up, viewers. And here are the headlines. This Thursday evening on the Debate Tonight. Viewers of Republic, please look out for the most exhaustive conversation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, right in the middle of the 2024 campaign. 283 seats have gone to the polls, so it's right halfway through the House. There are 3 parts in this interview: the politics of the campaign, the vision for Bharat, and the global challenges. Most importantly, there are things that the Prime Minister has said in this remarkable interview which will make global headlines. This interview is all day tomorrow, and of course at 7 and 9 p.m. as well tomorrow evening. Competing with the Owaisi brothers can be a terrible idea, but new BJP entrant and Member of Parliament Navneet Rana proves her worst critics right by issuing a 15-second warning to the Owaisi supporters. BJP keeps a distance from it, importantly, letting Navneet Rana fight her own battles, and that in itself shows that there is a signal of disapproval from them. Yesterday on the debate, I told you about the Congress party's motor mouth problem, and today Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary happily joins that list after Sam Pitroda calls South Indians Africans. The leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, top Congress leader, uses the N-word to describe dark-skinned Indians. Across India, there is a second round of protests for those who said this was the Congress party's election to lose. Congress leader after Congress leader seems intent to prove them right. She is known for headline speeches, but nothing justifies her 15-second threat, obviously targeting the minority community. As I said before, this is the kind of comment that helps the Owaisi brothers and the pseudo-seculars justify every wrong they've done over decades. Let's debate.
कि पुलिस को 15 मिनट हटा दो तो हम दिखाएंगे बोले कि क्या कर सकते हैं। छोटे को मेरा कहना है तेरे को 15 मिनट लगेंगे छोटे, और हमको सिर्फ 15 सेकंड लगेंगे। 15 सेकंड पुलिस को हटाना,
debate is, has Navneet Rana helped the Owaisi brothers? You understand what I mean. And joining me on the debate this evening is national spokesperson of the BJP, Nalin Kohli, and Advocate Waris Pathan, national spokesperson of the All India Majlis-e-Ittihad Muslimin, who owes his allegiance, of course, to the Owaisi brothers. Nalin, what kind of language is this? What kind of language is this? She's now officially with the BJP.
We don't approve of it. I'm saying it as blunt. Inappropriate. We don't approve of it. I personally don't approve of it. It's not the kind of language that anyone should use. Certainly not give it a communal touch in this manner. And how can you threaten something? It goes against the constitution. It goes against political norms. It only, I think you have summed it up. It'll only help the Owaisi brothers to come up and try to justify the wrong comment that came from their end.
Then what action have you taken against Navneet Rana?
I'm sure something would follow. I can only speak in my capacity as a spokesperson. I can speak in my personal capacity. But what I can say is it's certainly inappropriate. And I'm also curious to hear if anyone has a counter view, not the channel, is for those who are going to come on heavy on this. I'd like to see if there is any parity. Because the very people who are today criticizing it, we'd like to see if they criticized Owaisi brothers too. So I stand on the side that that comment is completely inappropriate, as is this comment.
Okay. Waris Pathan, in 2019, Akbaruddin Owaisi proudly defended his speech where he issued the 15-minute threat. He said the RSS people are still to recover from my 15-minute speech which I delivered in 2013. He was not apologetic. He was not sorry. He was proud about it. And you have been defending him over the last 11 years. So Waris Pathan, you know, did you at any point of time issue any official apology for his comment? No. Then in that case, how do you expect the BJP to apologize?
Well, Arnab, after the three phases of the polls which conducted in the country, the BJP is totally rattled, shattered and frustrated. And that is why such kind of statements are coming. Navneet Rana contested the election from Amravati and she knows it very well that she is losing the election badly. Against her, Anand Raj Ambedkar was contesting. Our party supported Anand Raj Ambedkar there, who is winning handsomely. So the frustration came out from her speech, which she delivered in Telangana.
Answer my questions that what moral authority do you have to demand an apology from the BJP on Navneet Rana when you came and justified the statements of Akbaruddin Owaisi?
Well, Akbaruddin Owaisi, the statement which was made by him, for that he was taking treatment in London. He left the treatment halfway. He came before the courts. He surrendered himself before the court. He was in custody for 42 days. He came out on bail for 10 long years. He fought the legal battle. And after hearing both the sides, the court acquitted him. He is acquitted. Now, when will an FIR be registered or filed against Navneet Rana? When will the election commissioner take steps to ensure that such kind of things don't happen? Why is the election commissioner not taking steps? The Supreme Court guidelines are clear. This is a direct threat. This is directly dividing the community. This is directly creating disharmony in the country. And this is polarizing. This is totally a hate speech as per the guidance laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court. Now the police machinery must come forward. They should register an FIR, arrest Navneet Rana. And an election commissioner would also issue a statement that yes, this is wrong. This is against the code of conduct which is led by the election commissioner.
Why is he making such kind of... Not once have you been able... Not once has Waris Pathan been able to gather the courage. And I would say to Waris Pathan, take a deep breath. Gather some courage. Thodi himmat rakhiye. And viewers... And
we are courageous people. We are not afraid. We say if she wants 15 seconds, we are ready to come. No, if she wants 15 seconds, the police should go away. We are ready to come. Come on, kill us. What do you want to do? Put us in the gas chambers. Kill us mercilessly.
Says the man who says,
we are ready to come.
हम 15 तुम 85, 15 मिनट दे दो मैं दिखा देता हूँ मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ.
To remove the police and do the needful.
Viewers, Waris Pathan is one of the most...
Why do you go for that statement? That I've already said that statement is over.
1 minute.
Now what now?
Because Waris Pathan is one of the most communal spokespersons on television. Waris Pathan is one of the most communal spokespersons on television. He's trying to be a saint tonight. He's trying to be a saint tonight. And what you're seeing on air is unfortunately the equivalence being drawn between the two, because the BJP MP still not had any punishment to face. Yet, you wanted a counter here.
May I
so
just
what's your
speak
counter?
on this for a
Yes, Nalin.
My counter is very clear. Mr. Waris Pathan has clearly used the word hate speech for Navneet Rana's comment. I have said I don't endorse Mr. Owaisi's comment. I don't endorse Navneet Rana's comment. I consider both inappropriate. Mr. Waris Pathan clearly is pointing that Navneet Rana's comment is inappropriate. So can he come on clean and say that he considers Mr. Owaisi's comment inappropriate or okay? What happened is a separate story. What about the comment? Do you agree with that comment or do you disagree with the comment of Mr. Owaisi? Just as you are disagreeing with Navneet Rana's comment.
Nalin, allow me. Why did she use such kind of words that chota, bada, 15 seconds? Why? What made her do that?
अरे मैं बोल रहा हूँ गलत है भाई, पर मैं दोनों को गलत बोल रहा हूँ. आप क्या कह रहे हैं ना, आप जरा अकबरुद्दीन साहब के बारे में तो बताइए, वो गलत बोल रहे हैं या सही बोल रहे हैं, इतना बता दीजिए.
For one speech you send a person to jail, for other speech
अरे होता बाद में होगा, आप पहले बताइए. आप
सलमान अजहरी just said one thing. He just read a couplet from a शायरी.
अरे भाई छोड़िए ना, हर दूसरे नाम को मत उठाइए. इन दोनों की बात करते हैं, तीसरे को बुला रहे हैं. हम दो डिबेट कर रहे हैं.
सलमान अजहरी is in jail now. Even that was not a hate speech, sir. See, Nalin Saab, this is not the I'm making a statement. You were making your point. I was quite silent. Allow me. Allow me. The law is equal for everybody. Sir, the law is equal for everyone. This is not proper, sir. This is not proper. Allow me to make my point, sir. Allow me. I was silent when you were making your point.
आप सिर्फ ये बताइए.
Then why don't you arrest her?
प्रवक्ता है, वो क्या कह रहे हैं? मैं प्रवक्ता की हैसियत से कह रहा हूँ कि दोनों गलत हैं.
Then I am ready to make such kind. Now I don't want to enter into such kind of debate wherein you don't want to hear me. Listen to me carefully, sir. Let me make my point at least. I won't allow you then to make your point, sir. Please. Please be patient. I said Mufti Salman Azhari just made a point and he's sent to jail now. That was not even a hate speech. Nobody called it a hate speech. But here Navneet Rana is clearly giving a hate speech. She is threatening. She is saying remove the police for 5-15 seconds. And what will she do? What will they do? Their intentions are clear. They want to massacre, kill, genocide all the Muslims. And they want to show the place to office. So why no FIR against her? No. Why the election commissioner is not taking any action? Merely you saying that no, I condemn that will not suffice. Why no action? Let action be taken, Sekarim. Let the law of the land prevail. Constitution say law is equal for everybody. If the law was for Akbar Owaisi, if the law is for Mufti Salman Azhari, that same law should be applicable to this statement which is made by
Waris Pathan, you are the eighth wonder of the world. Viewers, please look at the screen. The person on the right-hand side of the screen, the person on the right-hand side of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is Waris Pathan, who is giving people a lecture on hate speech. Can I tell you a joke, Waris? I'll tell you the joke. Once upon a time, Waris Pathan gave a lecture on television on hate speech. Ha ha ha. Waris, you've lost your mind. You've lost your mind. What moral authority do you have to demand an apology from anyone?
Why should not be? Why?
How is it that you say I want to finish off the Hindu community and that is not hate speech? And you become oversensitive right now suddenly?
She has named my leaders Chota.
And you have named the entire Hindu community of the country.
And why did she threaten
You
us?
have named the entire Hindu community of the country.
Why did she threaten us?
You get sensitive when a threat is put, mentioning your leaders.
What would she do with the 15 seconds? What would she do with the 15 seconds?
And what would you do with 15 minutes?
What was her intention?
What would you do with 15 minutes?
They want to mobilize
everybody. No. What would you do with 15 minutes?
Why are you not?
What would you do with 15 minutes?
What would she do with the 15 seconds given to her?
No, what would you do with the 15 minutes? You tell me first. Who started this? Who started this? Who started this? Who started this? We'll finish off the other community threat. Who started it? Who began speaking like this? Who introduced that as a desperate element in national politics? politics in 2013, 1 year before the general elections. Who said that? Who said that?
Don't take her sides.
No, I will say.
If she is innocent, she will be acquitted by the courts.
What is?
If she is innocent, the courts will acquit her.
You
But
get very
today she is guilty of creating communal disharmony in the country, spreading hate,
viewers,
trying to
volume
divide
down.
the country.
Waris gets all very ultra senti when a threat is put against the minority community. But Waris leads the abuse, attack and threats on the Hindu community on a daily basis on television. And if you question him, he'll say you're trampling on my freedom of expression.
Who said?
You.
What about the Muslims?
You do, sir, on a daily basis.
Intruders. Are we intruders, Arnab?
Who called you intruders?
Do you feel that we are intruders?
Who is we?
We have given
Who is
our
we?
life, sacrificed
Why do you
our
keep
life
saying
for
them
the
and us?
independence of the
Who
great
is we,
nation.
sir?
Why Modi
Who
says
is
so?
we?
Why Modi says so? 6 बच्चे पैदा करते हैं. How many siblings does Modi have?
He spoke about लोग जिन्होंने 6 बच्चे पैदा किए. He did not refer to the Muslim community. He did not refer to the Muslim community. You're trying to make it like that. You're trying to misinterpret him in order to make it a suitable case for yourself.
He said so.
He did not say so. He did not say so, sir. He did not say so.
You are lying. You are a liar.
Sir, you're a number one liar. You're the biggest liar on national television. You're the biggest liar on national television. He referred to infiltrators. He did not refer to the Muslim community.
Who's lying before the entire nation? Kindly revert back. Kindly play Modi's speech. Come on,
you kindly play. Show me the speech and the reference to Muslims.
Thrice. And if so much
you asked the question to Nalin Kohli if he did.
So much he was worried about the intruders. What were the BSF doing? Modi is in power since the last 10 years. If somebody was intruding, what was the BSF doing? What was the intelligence doing?
Nalin Kohli.
Stop.
Nalin Kohli. You're sounding like Mamata Banerjee now.
Call us. No, you cannot. Because the BJP is trying to polarize the situation. They're trying to create an atmosphere of hatred in the country. You must stop that.
Has run away from the debate wherein I clearly said that Navneet Rana's comment is inappropriate.
I'm answering you.
And Akruddin's comment is inappropriate. I'm saying it clearly. He is saying Navneet Rana's comment is inappropriate, but he's not saying that
Navneet Rana and she should be arrested and the election commissioner must take action steps. Why don't you, Nalin Kohli, on the national television today say that yes,
I heard you. Now can I at least...
Waris bhai, response, Waris bhai. Response from Nalin.
Two leaders on two political
Response to Nalin. Response from Nalin.
Nalin bhai, why don't you say...
I am saying as the spokesperson of the BJP, both are inappropriate.
Louder, Nalin.
As the spokesperson of the AIMIM is saying Navneet Rana is inappropriate. So do you consider Akruddin Owaissi's comment appropriate? It's a yes or no answer. It has nothing to do with infiltration.
Why? No, anybody who is making hate speech has to follow the code of conduct. We are following the code of conduct. But did she follow the code of conduct? Did she not give a hate speech? Are these words used by her?
Again, do you consider that inappropriate or not? Yes, no, it's inappropriate. Or it's not inappropriate. That's the simple question.
The guidelines. Then what action
if you say Akruddin Owaisi is not appropriate, then Navneet Rana is not appropriate. If you say Akruddin Owaisi is appropriate, then Navneet Rana is appropriate. Take a stand because both the comments are similar.
For that, the courts have given him a clean sheet. Sir, follow the courts. You are a lawyer, Naveen. You are a lawyer. You know what the courts have acquitted him.
I am talking about the comment, not the legal process.
Let her go before the courts.
Not the legal process. The legal process is separate to the moral process of the comment.
Then what process should be done? So what morality does she has to take that say that the chota
you
and
tell
bada
me your view.
Give us 15 seconds.
You are such a erudite spokesperson.
What morality does she have?
You are speaking so much. This one thing you are not saying in yes or no. अरे दोनों को बराबर रखे ना. या तो दोनों सही है या दोनों गलत है. आप ये कैसे कह सकते हैं ये सही है और वो गलत है?
अरे पर एक को सजा मिल चुकी है. दूसरे को नहीं मिली है ना. एक को सजा मिल चुकी है, दूसरा को कब एफआईआर करके अंदर डाला जाएगा? सवाल ये है.
चलिए आप ये कह दीजिए
सब हो गए थे ना,
उनको सजा मिल गई क्योंकि उन्होंने गलत कहा. ये तो कह दीजिए. चलिए
तो इनको कब मिलेगी सजा? तो इन्होंने सही कहा क्या? इन्होंने सही कहा क्या? इन्होंने बोलिए मुझे, इनके खिलाफ एफआईआर क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? इनके खिलाफ केस बुक क्यों नहीं हो रहा है?
नहीं ना, अर्नब जज है. ये कानून कचहरी नहीं है, टीवी डिबेट है भाई.
बीजेपी एक्शन. तो फिर आप बोल दो ना कि आपके हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. आप बोल दो नलिन भाई के मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. जो कानून करेगा बीजेपी करेगी.
You are a lawyer, I am a lawyer. We both practice in the court. We both understand the court is the process is separate. Let's talk as spokespersons, na? Why are you running away from your role as a spokesperson?
I know what the law says. We are very well conversant with the law of the land, sir. We are very well.
Even I know what the law says. Even I am a practicing lawyer. What do you mean to say? I practice the law without knowledge of law?
Then she must be. Then there should be an FIR. Then there should be an FIR. Then there should be an FIR against her. She should be sent to jail. Election Commissioner must take steps. The BJP government must take a step.
I'm giving a counter thing. You and I both know that a private complaint can be filed under the CRPC and either one can go. You can go and file it also.
Many transitions.
Who's stopping you? But tell me first, do you consider Mr. Akrubuddin Owaisi's comment appropriate or not?
Why move to action against her? Why? No, you want to create an atmosphere of hatred.
No, 1 minute, hold on. Did you file an FIR against Akrubuddin Owaisi? Here's the first question. Did you file an FIR against Akrubuddin Owaisi? That you can stand around and say, why aren't you filing it? Either you walk the talk or you then just say you are doing hypocrisy.
Without an FIR, can you arrest a person? Sir, there was an FIR. And on the basis of the FIR, he was arrested. He was in custody for 42 days.
1 minute, hold on. Did you file an FIR?
For 10 long years, he fought the battle in the court and
did
he was
you say
acquitted.
I want to make a complaint?
If the court has acquitted, without FIR, how can you arrest? Without an FIR, how can you
FIR has to be filed, the agency will file it against her. Why are you asking me? I'm not
Why the election commissioner who is conducting the election?
I'm asking you again and again.
Sir,
her comment is not correct. His comment is not correct. I'm saying it for the 20th time on this show. For once, can you say, you have already said her comment is not correct. For once, can you please tell us what do you think of Mr. Owaisi's comment?
No, you cannot.
Is it correct? A good comment or a bad comment? Simple.
You are on the back foot today. You don't have any points to make, sir. You are on the back foot. That is why you are just going here.
I'm
amazed. Just come to the point.
You know what they say? There is this quotation I want to share with you.
And the BJP
there is this quotation I want to share with you.
Yes or no? Simple question.
There's a quotation I want to share with you. It says, the shoe pinches when it's on the other foot. Classic case today. You are getting all senti.
Same for you.
You're getting all senti about what Navneet Rana said. But when Owaisi Jr. kept saying, and when you said that you want to finish off the Hindu community, when I protested, when I called you a liar for standing and speaking lies at Shaheen Bagh, you said it was your democratic right to lie. How can you have the democratic right to lie when it comes to you?
Don't try to shield a person who
I'm not shielding Waris.
Don't try to protect Navneet. She has given
a get out of your ivory tower. You get out of your ivory tower in your 50th floor flat in Mumbai. You wake up and get out of your 50th floor super luxury apartment in Mumbai, that ivory tower that you are in, and you will realize what the impact of these statements is on the people of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I take a 30-second Securite commercial break and coming back with why Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary used the N-word. Why use the N-word, ladies and gentlemen, competing with Sam Pitroda? 30 seconds only.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? It's antibacterial.
Scratch resistant also.
For plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो
And viewers, if Sam Pitroda got the gold for mindlessness, then 72-year-old Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, Lok Sabha opposition leader, breaks the record. Not satisfied by Uncle Sam comparing South Indians to Africans, he uses the N-word. Let's debate.
Another day, another well thought out comment.
हमारे देश में प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रेलियन है, निग्रेटा है, Mongoloid class hai to hai.
Congress leader of opposition Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary today defended Sam Pitroda's racist remarks.
हमारे देश में प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रेलियन है, निग्रेटा है, Mongoloid class है तो है. हमारा देश की क्या है? ये डेमोग्राफी जो है हमारे देश की जो टोपोग्राफी ये रीजन जो है, ये रीजनल फीचर भी अलग-अलग होते हैं. ये तो होता है रीजनल फीचर अलग अलग. हमारा हिंदुस्तान में प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रेलियन है, मतलब निग्रेटा क्लास है, मोंगोलाइट क्लास है, ये तो है.
This comes a day after Sam Pitroda quoted controversy identifying Indians by race.
We could hold country together as diverse as India, where people on East look like Chinese, people on West look like Arab, people on North look like, maybe white, and people in South look like Africa. Doesn't matter. We are all brothers and sisters. We all respect different language. We all respect different religion, different look, different custom, different food. And as a Gujarati, I love dosa. I love Italy. That's my food. That's no longer South Indian food. Okay, that's the India I believe in.
प्रधानमंत्री जो फुल टॉस पे खेलते हैं ना, तो इन्हीं फिजूल की बातों पे फुल टॉस खेलते हैं। मैं उनको चैलेंज करती हूँ, आप फुल टॉस खेलिए रोजगार पे, फुल टॉस खेलिए महंगाई पे, फुल टॉस खेलिए महिलाओं पे जो अत्याचार हो रहा है और जो अत्याचार करने उनको बचा रहे हैं उस पे खेलिए, फिर मैं मानूंगी कि हाँ कोई खेला है।
Pitroda comfortably rendered a token resignation after insulting Indians. But the N-word hurled by Adhir proves that the racist insults are deliberate.
Motion of the debate, N-word and Africans. Does this reveal their mindset for Sam, Congress, and of course Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary? Nalin Kohli continuing on the debate. Piyush Joshi and Pankaj Sharma are with us tonight. Yesterday was bad enough, Pankaj, but then you said that these are all small things we are picking up. Then everybody is getting into this race. That means somewhere Congress party is inherently racist. India Alliance Congress party is an inherent racism about them. Why would otherwise Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary use the N-word?
No party is racist. Don't give unnecessary importance to the statements made by some individuals. This has been a decade of making a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to anything in which the opposition is somehow involved. While saying this, I am not defending what Sam Pitroda and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary have uttered in their amazing wisdom. They are age-old, knowledgeable leaders of the Congress party. And the Congress party also has been so foresighted that always encouraged them, protected them, and given them a huge free hand. So it is between the Congress party and these very important stalwarts of...
No, so you are saying, there's a contradiction there. I'll get Nalin on this. You're calling them stalwarts. That means they speak for the party. You're calling them random leaders, but they're not random leaders. Nalin Kohli, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is the leader of the entire opposition in the Lok Sabha of our parliament. You can't distance that, and he continues to be. It's not a random leader. Nalin.
I think there are several things to be noted here. Mr. Sam Pitroda is the person who organizes and is next to Mr. Rahul Gandhi on all his foreign journeys, where Mr. Rahul Gandhi constantly is running down India. Mr. Rahul Gandhi goes somewhere in England and then says, what is Europe and America doing about democracy in India? Next day when he sees there's a furor, he says that he comes with a second comment without saying this, and they try to cover up saying the first one never happened. Now he goes ahead and then makes these comments which are very, very unfortunate. Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who's a very senior leader, as Mr. Pankaj Sharma has said, here in India then uses the N-word. So my first question is this a political party that is racist, or is this an anthropological class because they are a set of professors? Make up your mind. If you are a set of professors, then what are you doing in politics? And if you are in a political party, why are you trying to come up with all these things that globally would, not one person anywhere globally would stand up and say that these are appropriate comments by either Mr. Sam Pitroda or Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. And Mr. Rahul Gandhi always loves to go abroad. He always loves to have this endorsement from abroad. So I'm now wondering, what does Mr. Rahul Gandhi stand on this?
Yeah, this is now...
I said stalwart leaders, but then Mr. Goswami didn't allow me to complete. I think these leaders who are otherwise working in the political arena for decades need little maturity and the required articulation when they speak on sensitive issues. That is what I wanted to say.
Maybe it is because they are mature that they are talking like this. Maybe I'm just thinking maybe this is the kind of language that goes around in the CWC meetings. You see, this is maybe the kind of language that they use when they meet each other. Otherwise, maybe the kind of, we've seen so many sexual molestation and harassment cases within the Congress party. Maybe this is the culture of the Congress party. Sexual harassment, sexual molestation, chauvinism,
I wish to say something on this.
elitism,
I wish to say something.
racism and casteism. Nalin is responding. The question is whether this is an individual's mistake or whether it reflects something institutional, much worse.
See, all these things, racism, having a bad attitude towards someone, these are inbuilt into people's personalities. A racist does not become racist because they say, now I'm going to be a racist.
No.
Now I won't be a racist. You are a racist because that's the attitude that you live.
Yeah.
So therefore, the question here is that the way, the condescending manner in which Mr. Sam Pitroda spoke about Indians, I mean, that basically shows we are not good for anything. In that sense, we are just a mix of different breeds. There is no such Indian identity. And this is how we see the vision of India. Is this the vision of India that we are supposed to live? That's further now exacerbated by Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's comment, who takes it to another level. Something that I think you would get, in a sense, prosecuted for in the United States or in other countries, good democracies, for using that word.
Well, we have Varun Bidhuri who says on my Motorola feedback moment, the Motorola moment, he says BJP set an example by distancing themselves, flagging the Navneet Rana comment. Congress should have done the same. It's a good point. It's a good point. And Piyush, Samira Anshul saying Congress must come forward and apologize. It speaks volumes of their mindset. But to justify it, to justify the use of the N-word, to justify the use of the Chinese description, to call South Indians Africans, right? And then to get away with it. This is now going to be a responsibility on the India Alliance to clarify. Since you're pro-op, what's your take on this?
Well, my take is pretty simple on this, because this statement, not by Mr. Sam Pitroda, because Mr. Sam Pitroda divided Indians into races according to the region, which is not true. Indians, if you look at as a student of science and as a student of medicine, which I have, I'll continue to be all my life, the Indian subcontinent is indeed made up of 4 different races. So the statement may be scientifically correct, but it is grossly politically incorrect at such an important juncture. So I agree with Pankaj when he says that these people have decades of experience and they should exercise their own wisdom and experience while speaking about these sensitive issues, because they are prone to misinterpretation, they are prone to exaggeration, and that's what the Congress is finding itself into, because these comments are grossly exaggerated and grossly misappropriated.
What is exaggerated? No. What is exaggerated? Let me tell you.
Arnab, you also very well know. You have a very good research team.
What is misinterpretation?
The misinterpretation of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's comment. I am not agreeing with Mr. Sam Pitroda, who has divided Indians into different races based on region.
He has not used the word race. Let me tell you what he has said.
The N word is a misinterpretation.
Yeah, I know, and that's where he's wrong. That's where he's wrong.
No. One second. If you are saying that he's speaking like an anthropology student, a student of physical anthropology, it's wrong. Don't justify the unjustifiable, because Piyush, what he has said is Mongoloid class. Yesterday, Congress party says South Indians are like Africans. Today, Congress party officially says Mongoloid class.
He is wrong.
What does he mean by Mongoloid class? N-type class. N-type class. So he looks down on people who are from N-type class, who are like Africans. So Congress party calls dark-skinned South Indians,
and with due respect,
whoever is a dark-skinned South Indian,
Congress party
as an N-type class.
He could have used the newer term, which is Congoid.
This is how we treat our worldview. This is how we look at Indians, and this is how we look at the rest of the world.
But sadly, this is what Mr. Pitroda has become. Strange comments at strange times, putting the Congress into, cornering the Congress into a difficult position.
No, how come you don't ever come out saying, why don't you say no, Congress party has a problem of this, very, very urban elitism. Elitism. That Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi have fair complexion, so you look up to them. I mean, what is this, a party or a Fair and Lovely competition? Is it a Fair and Lovely competition? And anybody who's not Fair and Lovely is from the N class, African.
Arnabji, the only smart...
No, I'm not. Tell me, what am I hyping? What am I hyping? What am I hyping? What am I hyping?
You know, the only smart comment made in this whole controversy was by Priyanka Gandhi ji, who basically asked the important questions. That
Sir, do you know that Rani Velu Nachiyar, known as Veeramangal, a Tamil freedom fighter, was the first queen to fight a British colony power in the country? No. Do you know? No. Do you know that the Marudu brothers were the commander-in-chief and minister of the Shivaganga kingdom when the British attacked in 1789? Their troops fought all the colonial forces. Today, you are describing South Indians as N-type class. No, sir, this is very.
Thanks to Mr. Pitroda.
Because the abuse is not on you. If you were someone from northeast of the country or south of the country, you too, like Nalin, would have been angry.
I don't know where.
You find it amusing. Is it amusing? If you're watching, do you find it amusing?
No one endorsing. No.
No, I'm an Indian.
I think you should do a vote. You should do a vote from.
Let's do a vote on this now. Can I see the vote on the motion? There is an ongoing vote on this motion. There is, Nalin, an ongoing vote on the motion. I'll see how many people are on which side. It's absolutely incredible. This can't happen unless this is the kind of environment in which the Congress party operates. Viewers, just take your phone close to your television screen, and does this word, Africans, N-type class, reveal the Congress party's mindset? That's my question. 88% are saying yes, Nalin. But is this an election issue, Nalin? Should this be an election issue?
This is a mindset issue. And
but should it be picked up in an election? And if so, why?
Again and again. This is a look down. And I think the people, it's an election issue for the people of India, any self-respecting Indian, to look at it that this is the attitude coming from the highest echelons of the Congress party's leadership, looking down at Indians, classifying them as foreigners, using inappropriate words for foreigners and for Indians, and then, in a sense, just nonchalantly saying, oh, it's just a statement.
No, it's not a statement. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, but here is the way I see it. You see, the way I see it, this election is all about polarization. It is totally polarized between Hindu versus minority. And the fact that the vote share was better in the third phase may mean that this polarization is working on the ground. Mark my words, don't misunderstand me. I'm not justifying the polarization. But this polarization could be working electorally on the ground. And therefore, for a third consecutive night, on the way I see it, on the Super Prime Time, the debate with Arnab, I'm saying that Hindu vote consolidation is possibly something that nobody has measured in the election so far. Hindu vote consolidation could be one of the biggest realities of this election. Ladies and gentlemen, once again a reminder that we have a great 100-minute interview with the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, that is playing out on India's largest network, the Republic Media Network. That is all day tomorrow, and I look forward to your feedback on that. I also want to tell you, in case you're an evening primetime viewer, then that will be playing around 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. tomorrow. On the Super Prime Time, the debate with Arnab. Tomorrow, PM Modi and me in a great conversation.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Powered by Vimal, Polo Zuban Kesari.
Co-powered by Simpolo. Tile ho to Simpolo. Kane sir, your dinner.
On a tile?
It's antibacterial.
Scratch resistant also. The plates?
Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus technology से बने world class tiles. Tile हो तो Simpolo.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial. Scratch resistant also. The plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो.
In just a decade, India has transformed into a digital powerhouse. From classrooms to clinics, farms to finance, digitalization is revolutionizing every aspect of life. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial. Scratch resistant also. The plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो.
Digital India is marching in full swing and with high spirits to achieve the target of.
He thinks by spreading false propaganda against the Muslims, he's using that as a play to win his election. Because if in this nation this hatred spreads further, this nation will have tragedies inside.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Powered by Vimal, Polo Zuban Kesari.
Co-powered by Simpolo. Tile ho to Simpolo. Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial.
Easy to clean.
The plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial.
Easy to clean.
The plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth, over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial.
Easy to clean.
The plates? Kane bhai, it's a tile ad.
IM Plus टेक्नोलॉजी से बने वर्ल्ड क्लास टाइल्स टाइल हो तो सिंपल हो.
चल हो जा शुरू.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Kane, sir, your dinner.
On a tile? Arey, it's antibacterial.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Goswami on the debate.